Hi guys, this is going to be the tutorial that's going to show you how to make this Hexagon baby blanket. And for this tutorial you're going to need a 5mm hook or a size H hook and worsted weight yarn, medium worsted weight yarn, size 4-ply for the US and 10-ply for Australia. And you don't have to, but because there's so many spaces in between here, I thought that it would be very important to put some kind of backing on it, so I went and I got this fleece material. The whole thing is about a meter long, so I got a meter of material and I still had some left over. And at the end of the video, I'll show you how my seamstress, my mother-in-law, who's a seamstress, how she did this, how she sewed it. So if you have a sewing machine or know someone who can, then you'll have a video or something to show them. So how to make this hexagon and connect it, I'll show you how to do that now. Hopefully these colors will show up. This is medium worsted weight yarn. And what you're going to do is make your slip knot. And you want to chain 4. And then you want to slip stitch in this beginning chain to form a ring. Then chain 2. Now I'm going to be double crocheting 18 using this ring, and this first chain 2 will not count. So this will be 1. I'm working over my tail as I go. 2, 3, just continue to double crochet 18 in this center ring. And if you need to pull your stitches down to fit more in there, feel free to do that. Now again, like I said, I'm not counting this chain 2, so I'm going to go right into this first stitch and slip stitch. Slip stitch in my first double crochet that I did. Now you want to chain 1, and we're going to be doing the double crochet crossover stitch. At least that's the best name I could come up with. What you do is you go in the back stitch only. See how each stitch has a back and a front? I'm going to be only going through that back stitch. And we're going to be starting using this very first place where we just slip stitched and chained 1. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to see, but you can see a lot easier on your own project. You want to double crochet using that back stitch only. And then again, you want to go into the next one using the back stitch only, leaving these front stitches here to be used in just a moment. And the stitch is done with sets of 3. We just did 2, so we're going to do 1 more using the back stitch only and double crochet. Now we have 3 double crochets in the back stitch. Now we're going to be doing 3 double crochets using just those front stitches that we skipped. So you can get your hook and grab it like this, makes it a little easier, and then double crochet in that front stitch. And again, grabbing up the next front stitch, do a double crochet. Then our third and final, and that completes the double crochet crossover stitch. You have 3 double crochets back here worked in the back stitch and 3 double crochets worked in the front stitch. And they're done in sets of 3, so that's our first set. Now we continue over to do the next set, and I can show you this one in slow motion. And that's how you do the double crochet crossover stitch. And that was our second set. Now we start our third. And you just want to continue to repeat this all the way around. And I will see you up here at the end of this round. Now when you get done on the end of round two, then you want to slip stitch in this beginning, this first double crochet that you did, just like that. Now for round 3, you want to start by chaining 2. In this round, the chain 2 will count as a stitch. So this is your first double crochet. Working in that same stitch, you want to double crochet 4 more times to make a shell. So that's 3, 4, and 5. Now you want to skip 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and then the next, you want to anchor down that shell by putting a single crochet. Now skip 2 stitches again, and you want to start in the next shell in this third stitch. And every shell consists of 5 double crochets. So that's 3, 4, and 5. Again, skip 2. You want to anchor down that shell by putting a single crochet. Skip 2 and repeat. 5 double crochets to make your shell. Then you'll want to skip 2 again and put a single crochet. And then skip 2 again and do your shell. You want to continue this pattern all the way around until you get back up to the beginning. Okay, I'm at the end of round 3. Did my shell, skip 2, did my single crochet, skip 2, and now we're going to be single crocheting in the top of that chain 2 space. The very first chain 2 that we did. Slip stitch there, chain 1, and leave yourself enough tail to be worked in later so that you don't have all these tails sticking out. Leave a long enough tail so that you can use your tapestry needle to hide your tails. Now we're going to be connecting to the points of the shell. So make another hexagon until do rounds 1 and 2. And when you get to the third round, when you start your shells, I'll show you how to connect the hexagons together. Okay, I just got done with my first shell of my third round and my first single crochet. It's always best to start your connections on your second shell, at least, in case you need to make extra connections. So what you do when you want to start to make a connection is you make the first 2 double crochets of your shell, and then when you start to make your third, only pull through 2, leaving 1 on your hook here. Then you want to use, in the middle of a shell, has 2 double crochets on this side and 2 double crochets on this side and 1 in the middle. We're going to be using this middle one as a connection. So you want to find it on your shell here. Usually I find it by finding the first 2 stitches. So I know this is my middle. So I'll go into that top, that shell, and then yarn over and pull through to finish my double crochet, connecting this as I do it. Then finish your shell, finish your last 2 double crochets of your shell, and you made your first connection. Now skip 2, do your single crochet, skip 2, and do the first 2 double crochets of your shell, And then when you get to your third, only pull through 2. And again, if you lay your project down, you can easily see that this is where you need to make your next connection. So I'm skipping 2, the first 2 double crochets, knowing now that that's my middle, and slip stitch again, and then finish your shell by completing the last 2 double crochets. Now my shell's complete, and now I have 2 connections, center to center, and that's how you'll complete all of your connections. And then when you do your next connection, you'll be putting a connection here, and connection here. Okay, I got rounds 1 and 2 done. And like I said, before I start to make any connection on round 3 with my shells, I like to always do my first shell and my first single crochet. Then skip 2, start your next shell. When making a connection, you always do your first 2 double crochets of your shell. Then when you're ready to do the third, you only go through 2 of your loops. Then find the place you want to connect. Now, you're going to be making a connection using the V created when you connect 2 together. So I'm going to find the top of the shell here, and then pull to finish my double crochet. And I'm going to finish my shell. Skip 2, then do a single crochet. Then I'm going to start my next shell by doing my first 2 double crochets, and then beginning my third, only pulling through 2 though. Then I'll find my next connection. And like I said, if you lay your stuff flat, you can always tell that naturally this is going to be the next connection. Now, there's 2 ways you can do this one. You can go in through the same stitch where you connected last time, or you can go in through the top of the shell and come up to the top of the other one, grabbing this stitch as a connection, which is what I prefer. And I can show you again. Try to get a little closer here. This is the top of your shell that you didn't complete, and then you did a connection with it. I go in through the top of that shell, and then I just come up through the top of this shell where you actually did your connection to do the connection on this side. Or like I said, you can just go in through this connection where you made it here last time and just use that. It's up to you. So I made my connection. So now I'm going to finish this shell by doing my last 2 double crochets. Then skip 2 and single crochet. Now again, since we know we have 3 connections to do this round, do my first 2 double crochets, and then my third, I'm going to stop. You can see you definitely need a connection here. If you're not sure about the connections and stuff, do it like I do. Always lay it down, make sure where the best possible connection is, because you don't want to have any loose. Okay, so going into the top of this shell, and I'm going to finish my shell by doing my last 2 double crochets. And now I've made my 3 connections, and I know that I'm done connecting, and I can just finish my shells and single crochets till I get to the end. Okay, again I'm on my shell row, and I'm ready to do a connection. doing my first 2 double crochets of my shell. And again, I'm going to make a connection going this way. This is my 2 that I started with. So eventually you're going to need to have one here. I'm going to need to put one on this side, but I want to show you how to keep everything going, flowing. It's best to do a couple of rows at the same time because you need to go into the corners as well. So I'm going to go in, make my connection on this side. On this corner, and finish my double crochets for my shell. Then do my single crochet and start my shell again. So my first 2, on your third you stop, and you're going to be making a connection this way as well. So again, you can just go right into that connection that you connected to before, or you can go in through the top of one and come out to the top of the other. Make a connection that way. Either way works. I just think it kind of gives it more of a stronger connection if you go through using that particular way. But it does leave kind of a little twist here, but I don't think you will see it at the end. So skip 2, do the single crochet, skip 2, and start your shell again. And again, on your middle double crochet, you want to do a connection here. So go in through the top, keeping my my yarn here on this side of my hook. That way it doesn't get in the way and it makes it easier to grab. Then complete your shell. And since you'll have no more connections for this particular hexagon right now, you'll just go ahead and finish it. Okay. So you have 4 at least done. And once you get a few connected, you can flip it over to the back and thread your tapestry needle. And then just go down. I just go down to the next stitch into the back stitches. Bring it somewhere down towards the middle like this. And hide my tails. After you get like maybe a whole row, once you start getting rows, going down the, making whole rows, then you can wait until you get a whole row done before you have to work in your tails. But when they're so close like this together, they really get in the way. But once you get it going, then you should be fine. Oh, this is the wrong side here. Okay, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, you'll have 10 going the long way, which is the row you're working on. And then whenever you're connecting your next area, like I showed you, you'll be connecting to this point, to the middle, and then to this point. And then once you've got your 3, then you've got a start of 2 rows. And then you will make your next one, and you can connect it to this point, and then to this connection point, and then to this point. And you'll just continue. Usually it's only going to be 3 points. Then whenever you start your other row here, again, just through those 3 points. And what I did is I started making just these 3 rows until I got them the length that I needed. The middle one was 9. The middle one's 10, and then the ones on either side of it is 9. Then once you get that completed, and I'll show you a picture of that, then you'll start your 4th row. Once you get your 3 completed, what I did to start my next row was I would connect here. So, because I already had, my diagonal to connect here already. So, to make it easier, I connected this one. And then I came and connected the diagonal here. And then I just continued on my 4th row. And then connected the next row. And I just kind of went by rows after that. Now I want to show you how to make the border that I have going around the Afghan here. This little ruffle border. First thing I did was, I guess I'll use this color, it's probably easier to see. Using the same size hook, you can just go into a corner of the Afghan. So let's just say that this was my corner. I would go into this very corner part of the shell, like where I made my connections. And I did a single crochet connection by just pulling up a loop, then pulling through 2 of the loops. Then I went through and did a single crochet in each stitch around. So I did this for the whole border of the Afghan. So I'm going to do that with this, and then when I get back to the beginning, I'll show you then round 2 of the border. I want to show you real quick when I get to, I'm about to go into the next hexagon. This is where I made my connection with my middle. I just go to the space in between my middle and then where I finished my shell. So this is the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I'll just do a single crochet there and then just keep continuing to work on, trying to even out the surfaces. Okay, when you get done and you have single crocheted all the way around your Afghan and you get back up to the top again, just slip stitch and tack to that first single crochet that you did, and then chain 1. And now you're going to be doing the double crochet crossover stitch using the same stitch that you just slip stitched into, using this back stitch only, just like you do for round 2. You'll be doing the double crochet cross stitch all the way around in sets of 3, just like you were doing for row 2. So basically you're going to be just repeating row 2 of the hexagon here. Just repeat your sets of 3 just like this all the way around the Afghan, and when you get done it's going to leave that ruffle kind of look. So stay tuned and I will show you how we connected this, or we sewed on the back of this fleece material. Okay, just got it all pinned on these corners. I wanted to give you a quick tip. If you did want to do the ironing, she told me that if you put like a thin kind of cloth over it, ironing from this side she recommends, because I thought maybe you had to iron from that side. She says from this side, and you can start in the corner, get it, lay your project out flat, and don't get your iron too hot. Just get it fairly warm, and then put a thin cover over it, and then just sprinkle some water on it. She said don't get it real wet, just sprinkle water on it, and then she says iron like this, like pat it down like that. So if you want to make your back flat by ironing, then that's how you do it. And that's it. That's how you finish off and make a beautiful hexagon baby blanket. I hope that yours comes out just as beautiful as mine did, and that you enjoyed making it as much as I enjoyed making mine. Thanks so much for watching, and please don't forget to like and share this video, and please don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.